My name's Shonda Green, and for 12 years I've been a correctional officer at Greenwell State. Folks call me Officer G, the black woman who doesn't flinch. I've seen riots, deaths, and men lose their minds one scream at a time. Nothing surprises me anymore. Until Rohan Shiva. He wasn't like the others. Didn't beg, didn't curse, didn't pretend to be innocent. Just quiet. Always polite. Always steady. Even the roughest inmates gave him space, like they sensed something different about him. He'd been locked up for a murder he swore he didn't commit, but after 12 years, he'd stopped fighting. I'd see him sometimes on night rounds, sitting on the edge of his cot, staring at the floor like he was listening for something far away. One night, I heard him humming a low tune, soft, almost like a lullaby. I told him to keep it down, but he smiled at me, said, "It's what my dog used to fall asleep to." His dog. That was the only time I saw light in his face. The next morning, the warden called a staff meeting. I skimmed the papers on his desk, execution roster. And there it was, Rohan Shiva, scheduled for next week. I felt my stomach drop. I wasn't supposed to feel anything, but I did. Later, when I delivered his meal, he looked at me and said calmly, "Guess it's almost time." I didn't know what to say. You never do in those moments. So I asked, "They're granting final requests tomorrow. You want anything?" He didn't even pause.
Yeah.
"I want to see my dog." I blinked. "Your dog?" He nodded. "Her name's Zia. German Shepherd. She's all I had." I stared at him for a long second. Most men ask for a steak or a cigar. Nobody asks for love. But there was something about the way he said her name. It wasn't desperation. It was devotion. Honestly, I didn't think the warden would approve it. But by some miracle, or maybe guilt, they did. 2 days later, they brought Zia through the north gate. When that dog saw him, the world just stopped. The handler hadn't even finished the command before she broke free. She tore across the yard, fast and fierce, and Rohan dropped to his knees like his body remembered how to breathe again. When she leapt into his arms, the sound that came out of him didn't belong to a man. It was something deeper. Pain, joy, all mixed together. I had to turn away. My throat burned, and my hands were shaking. I'd never seen anything like it. But then, Zia froze. Her ears shot up. She turned toward me, then to the guards, barking sharp and loud. Not scared barking, not playful. Purposeful. Like she was saying, "Pay attention." Luis, one of the senior guards, frowned. "What's she doing?" Then she darted back to Rohan, pawing at his pocket. Over and over. Rohan looked confused. "What is it, girl?" He reached into his jumpsuit and pulled out a folded scrap of paper. We all just stood there, watching. He opened it, hands trembling, and read the name written inside. Felipe Ruiz. His face went pale. His eyes filled up fast. "That's him," he whispered. "That's the man I told them about. 12 years ago. They never believed me." Luis took the paper, frowning. "Where'd this come from?" Rohan shook his head, still staring at the name like it was a ghost. "I don't know. It wasn't in my pocket before. I swear it wasn't." And in that moment, everything shifted. Zia stood there beside him, tail low, eyes locked on us.
Silent now.
Watching. Waiting. And for the first time in 12 years, I felt something I'd long stopped believing in.
Hope.
The moment that dog barked, everything inside that yard changed. You could feel it in the air, like somebody had whispered truth into a place that hadn't heard it in years. Luis held that note like it was a live wire. The warden was already shaking his head. "This doesn't prove anything," he said, voice tight. "Probably some prank." But I'd seen plenty of pranks in prison. This wasn't one. Rohan just sat there, hands trembling, Zia pressed against his leg like she was guarding him from the whole damn world. I could see tears soaking through his beard. "I told them," he said quietly. "I told them it was Ruiz." I couldn't move. I just kept staring at the paper. One name. 12 years of silence hanging on it. "Warden," I said finally, "we should at least check." He shot me a look that could slice steel. "You want me to halt a state execution because a dog found a note?" "Maybe I do," I said. The yard went still. Even the birds shut up. Louise stepped forward, slow and firm. She's right. Call it in. And that's how it started, the longest, strangest night of my career. By sundown, Rohan was locked back in his cell, and the prison was buzzing. Some folks whispered the dog was trained.
Others said she was possessed.
One guard swore he saw her stare straight into the security camera like she knew she was being watched. But I couldn't sleep. That name, Felipe Ruiz, kept spinning in my mind. Around midnight, I went into records myself. The file was thick with dust. Rohan's mugshot stared up at me, tired eyes, still proud. I flipped through the pages, scanning the old witness statements, arrest reports, timelines. Ruiz's name wasn't in there anywhere. But then, in the margins of an old interview transcript, half smudged in pen, someone had written FR? I froze. Somebody had looked into it. They just never followed through. The next morning, the warden came into briefing, jaw tight. Executions postponed. Official review requested by state attorney. Luis caught my eye across the room. Neither of us smiled. We didn't dare hope yet. They brought Zia in again a few days later. Not to the yard this time, but to the evidence room. I was there, standing by the door. They laid out old photos, faces, mugshots, grainy black and whites from a decade ago. The dog sniffed each one, tail twitching. Then she froze at one, barked 3 times. The name under the photo, Felipe Ruiz. Nobody spoke, not even the investigator. Just a soft click of his pen and a slow exhale. That's when things started unraveling fast. Ruiz had vanished after Rohan's arrest. No records, no sightings. But when the feds ran a fingerprint search, they found a hit in another state, some low-level burglar doing time under the name Martin Del Corso. The prints matched the crime scene from Rohan's case exactly. I swear, I felt my knees go weak when I heard it. The warden looked like he'd swallowed a bullet. 12 years, he muttered. We locked up the wrong man for 12 damn years. When they told Rohan, he didn't say a word. He just leaned down, kissed Zia's head, and started to cry. Big, quiet tears. Not of anger, of release. A few weeks later, he walked out of Greenwall State. No cuffs. No orange jumpsuit. Just freedom and that dog walking beside him, head high like she knew she'd done something holy. They said the paper might have been slipped into his pocket by a sympathetic guard. But no one claimed it. I asked every person on duty that day. Everyone swore they didn't touch him. So maybe it was something else. Something bigger. Because when I looked at Zia that last morning, before they drove off, she turned her head, met my eyes, and wagged her tail once. Slow, steady, certain. Subscribe to the channel for more story like this.